Cave Dweller, this episode of the Skrauss Live with Awesomeness and Genius is brought to you by contains only juice pressed from fresh, whole, ripe, dark, sweet black cherries. This jug of tap water with a lemon floating in it. And this phone call from a 608 number. Hello. You're Max with who? Home Advisor. Hey, I'm not interested, but thanks for calling. I mean, I'll call you when I get interested, if that ever happens. Okay, thank you, bye. Home Advisor keeps bugging me because I am a handyman. I have a handyman business, and they have this thing where they provide you leads, but they charge you $300 a month. Or is it a year? They charge you $300 periodically to give you leads, and then they take a cut of every job you get. And I think, yeah, okay, maybe I'm working, but now I'm working twice as hard for half the pay because some jerk is chiseling money out of me. I'd rather just not grow my business, I guess. There's just something about that rubs me the wrong way. I feel like it's the mafia. Why do I have to pay for your service and give you a cut? Do you see what I'm saying? Sweet black, pure, ripe, cherry, black, pressed pureness. Now then, this painting I'm doing, this is a blank canvas. It's not even canvas. It's one of those corrugated plastic things. I'm going to combine this kid that's floating in the sky with a bunch of people looking at him, Morpheus, and a picture from Be on TV, maybe even the one from the cover. Boo, yeah. So let's put that in, and we'll put this in. I ripped both of Morpheus, and there's a monkey on the back of Morpheus. Pretty good one. That's a pretty great monkey. Does that look like? There was an art show I saw when I was in the Navy, and the project, it was intriguing. He took magazines and held them up to the light, and they had placement that appeared designed to be evocative when both images from the front and back side of the page bled through and you could see them both, like when you hold it up to the light. For instance, there'd be like the bleached out model with the bright red lipstick, and then on the back would be a spill of nail polish or something, and the spill went right across her neck, you know. Anyway, I don't really want to do this right now. Let's instead just do this. We're working on this painting again. This is a painting of, you know, that bright red, cheap black, pure pressed cherry juice is really sticky. Where is... I had a rag somewhere. Oh, here it is. Okay, so yesterday, this is virtually almost done. I want to add some fingies coming in here, like from somebody else, like maybe she's looking at somebody. Let's draw those in. And I will draw them in using white, because this bottom area is so dark. Oh, it's 15 after. It's time to talk about current events. First, let's put in the fingies. All right, that makes it a little bit more evocative. And I was worried about how I would put these fingers in there because from far away, like the version of the painting you're looking at, I didn't know where I'd put it. I assumed the hand had to be gigantic, but it doesn't. It just has to be bigger than her hand. And she should actually have a hand raised here as well. Okay, let's put that in white as well. I'm actually going to use gray for her hand. Ooh yeah, gray. Sorry, I don't have a palette cam today, Cave Dweller. I left that cam under my sofa. In fact, you know, that sofa, it's only big enough for one person, and I have to sit in it sideways and my legs hang over one arm while my head rests on the other arm. And I think I'm just going to take that downstairs on the eve of Independence Day, observed, which is today. And it's observed tomorrow. Today is the eve of observed. And I'm going to just smash it with a hammer. I've been trying to sell it to people. It was given me by my former GF's parents, and I'm like, wait, screw you people. I mean, the parents are pretty good. One of them's dead. All right, so let's see. The hand comes up, and it does one of these numbers. You know, these numbers. Wait, thumb goes on the outside. Okay, so this will be like this then. One thing I love about manga is, I've said this before, the better artists understand anatomy so well, it's haunting. The artists coming out of Japan, or cartoonists coming out of Japan, are just, they range, but the top are the best. Whereas the top here are, you know, there's like two of them, and they're, you know, good, but not like the bottom of the barrel in the 50s where they were really great. Students spend all their time now learning computer programs and style rather than learning proportion and anatomy. Like I said, we're right here. We're time for a review. And I'm going to review the book, He Shall Live Up in the Sky. He Shall Live in the Sky. It's by Christopher Knowles. And let me tell you what I wrote about it. I'm back. Did you miss me? I'll bet you did. I know that you did. Okay, this is a notebook. I wrote this review this morning. This is a rough draft, but I think I'm just going to read it, and it'll be a kind of experiment in legibility. Because there's some things I said here that are precisely worded, precisely, put that air quotes around that because it's a rough draft. The plot of the novel, He Will Live in the Sky, is an exercise bike. It's an exercise bike. Lots of action that merely spins its wheels. The book opens with a character named Kevin shooting a rock singer who then vanishes. Two private investigators then who are opposites in temperament are ordered to find him, and their investigation into the murder of him leads through honeypots, black ops, human sacrifice cults, human trafficking, rogue agents, murder, mechanical mind control, divination, a remote viewing arms race, mental instability, UFOs, fairyland, contract security, rock and roll, early internet, child abuse, secret boarding schools, and betrayal in contemporary or 1995 real world New England. And when I say real world, I mean there's nothing fantastic about it as far as fantastical fiction goes. Oh, yeah, okay. Just turn the mic level down. It's pretty hot. So, can you hear me now? I feel like that's better. All right. And we're not. I fixed the echo, incidentally. Well, back to the subject. The story unrolls before our hungry eyes for 360-some pages. I couldn't leave it sitting on my coffee table. It compelled me to read. At every traffic light, at every small moment where I was paused and eating. If I was painting a wall, I would hold the book in one hand and paint the wall with the other. Even though the prose of this book is informal, so informal that it's loaded with darlings, cliches, and missed edits that makes it look like a scoop of Rocky Road ice cream. One thing that impressed me, however, was when the threat of death by blood loss is addressed in the book, The narrator refers to it as bleeding out, but the characters refer to it as bleeding to death. That's important because bleeding to death is how we called this phenomena up until the show CSI, which debuted this century. The setting is 95. It wouldn't be popular for them to say bleeding out. They would just say bleed to death. And he's consistent with that throughout the book whenever that's mentioned. However, there's another time a character finishes a sentence using the word ish as an adverb. And the suffix ish as an adverb is something that was popularized this century. So he's devout and devoted to the not breaking the anachronism of bleeding to death, but he breaks it with ish. So what's the point? Why not just break them all if you're going to let it slide on the one? And it's just one many editing insights. The book is written by Christopher Knowles, and he's not Hemingway, a master of spare prose, but he may be a popular thriller author and a competent user of informal prose. I don't know if popular thriller authors use informal prose or not, because I've never read a popular novel. Now, I read Ian Fleming once, but he's from an earlier era where people were more formal. I haven't really read anything recently. Okay, so Chris Knowles may be a competent informal prose author. We don't read books for the style, we read them for the plot and characters, and this book satisfies on both those levels. Moving Knowles' Muller and Scully-ish characters through an arcane labyrinth that deposits them back where they started, as shattered beings leading a long trail of bodies. The protagonists, Muller and Scully-ish, are staunchly... The male partner is a starchy specimen of a man who looks like Superman from the Lois and Clark show, so essentially he is Clark Kent. His partner refers to him always as a choir boy, or as an altar boy. And his partner is, the woman is a foul-mouthed hard-ass. And neither of these two know anything about ufology or the occult or conspiratainment industrial complex, which was then only a fetus. Alex Jones hadn't yet launched InfoWars, which was born in 1999. All that they had in the conspiratainment industrial complex was JFK and the Clintons' trail of corpses. That's all they had to go on for conspiracies. Nobody was even talking about the food pyramid or other things that started before then. Roswell, whatever. Anyway, opening the book is a dive into this world of mystery and speculation. Closing the book is a step out of the Kool-Aid pool. It's a refreshing dip and an excellent first novel, but probably won't be seen on any lists of books in the Western canon. Possibly the occult, paranormal, parapolitics fans list of cult must-reads, placing it next to Illuminatus Trilogy and Holy Grail, Holy Blood, and The Da Vinci Code. But nothing respectable. Look for good things from Christopher Knowles in the future. Heck, in the past. Go to his blog, The Secret Sun, for an exercise into the world of It's Too Cool to Be Real and Yet So Compelling. That wraps up the... look, and it only took me 5 minutes. And I read my thing, and now we're ready for these fingies. Let's do it, Cave Dweller. We've been waiting for decades to finally get to this painting. Let's finish it up today. I'm a little concerned about the face. What I'm going to do is what I would suggest to Christopher Knowles. I'm going to kill my darlings. There's something about this neck I have to fix. I'm going to kill my darlings. I'm going to obliterate the first face. I'm going to focus on the second face. And we'll take it from there. Now the neck needs adjustment. So we'll get that done too. A little bit of water because it's We'll give her blonde hair because I never do that. Because gentlemen prefer colors other than blonde. Because blonde is common. People used to love blonde hair because it was uncommon. But thanks to the bottled blondes, it is now absolutely common. So common, it's unremarkable. Which reminds me of a funny story involving my nards. But maybe I won't go into that now. I'll leave that for some other time. Let's see, we got the bottle blonde-ish hair-ish. I'm going to use a bigger brush-ish. Using a Aurelian blue and white, the white that I just used for the eyeballs. Yeah, that's funny. Okay. So you got some big hair, it looks like, which, like I said, is hilarious. Oh, it's almost time to talk about current events. I wish I was paying attention. I promised myself I'd pay attention to current events so I could regale you with my opinion. Let's see if I can think of something in 5 minutes. And now I'm puttering at peeling things off my palette. Sometimes I get distracted by... There's something satisfying about peeling plastic off your palette. I recommend you try it. That hair looks too big because this face is too skinny, but the face over it is bigger, so I'm going to break out the evil light portrait pink. Oh, here it is. I inherited this light portrait pink, so I'm trying to use it up. It's not... I shouldn't be using it at all because it becomes a crutch. I should never use it without mixing. Let's add some alizarin crimson. I actually don't think I do use it without mixing. Oh, maybe I do. Flesh tone is so bizarre because no matter what color you use, if you put it on somebody's face, it becomes flesh tone. Unfortunately, orange... If you add anything to orange, if you add white or gray or black, it turns into flesh tone. Okay, so now it's very pink. That's alright. I don't care. She can be pink. Reminds me of Sword of the Atom. In Sword of the Atom, it was a 4-issue miniseries by DC Comics. The Atom shrinks down in the jungles somewhere and loses his powers of dwarf star technology, so he can't control his size. So he's stuck small. And he runs in... has a run-in with a race of little people. They are very little. They are 6 inches high or so. And he befriends them, joins them, goes native with them, falls in love with one of them, and fights a war with them. And then dwarf star technology returns and he turns into a giant. But when he first meets them, her mouth is too far this way, so I'm going to put it over more. When he first meets them, they're yellow, like not Chinese stereotypical yellow. They're like yellow. They're just people that are yellow. And he is pink because he's sunburned. That's it. That's the story. Oh, I better add some pink to her arm because now that she's pink, her arm has to be pink. Putting fingers on the bottom of the panel, just reaching into the panel. That's a common trope in comics. It's dramatic. You see it a lot. You probably see it in movies a lot too. Oh, look at this! And then now there's this bit over here. What's that? That hand looks too small. The Sword of the Atom. I read that when I was in summer after 7th grade, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I just couldn't wait for every issue to come out. Of course, it lasted all summer, right? All right, ride my bike to the comic book store. The Sword of the Atom! Awesome! I had to look everywhere to find issue 1. I always came to these miniseries having missed the first issue. Remember when the Nightcrawler miniseries came out, and I saw issue 1, I was like, ooh, I gotta get it. We're at Ticonderoga, an office supply store. And I said to my mom, I'm like, Eva, I gotta get this one. And she said, no, he looks like a demon. You know, big picture of Nightcrawler with the spaded tail coming out of his arse. Blue, fangs, yellow eyes. No, that's not a demon. That's Jesus. Well, it didn't convince her. So I didn't get to read that until... How did I end up reading that? I read it somewhere, but I don't think I actually own that miniseries. Anyway, the library? Did I check on the library? I don't know. Who knows? All right, we have the moon, we have the face, we got a chink, chink, chink. We got a chink, chink thing going on in a diamond composition. It's obviously rising this way, even though I designed it to rise this way. It's because of this strong diagonal. But it's subverted now, so what happens? I don't know what that means. I don't know what's going to happen. There's an X, which I should accentuate. Accentuate. I'm going to do that with dioxazine purple. And a little ivory black. And a little bit of quinacridone magenta. I'm just going crazy. I can't control myself. I'm mixing colors and it's knocking me out. I'm knocking my socks off. I'm going nutso. This is atonal. No recognizable tone in the spring form of my spatula knife. My palette knife, shaped like a spatula. I don't actually fry eggs with this because it would scratch the Teflon. Teflon, you may know, is actually plastic. That non-stick coating on the bottom of your pan, plastic. I highly recommend not cooking on it. And we're bringing this... Ooh, that is dark. I mean, I just wanted it to cover... Woo. Darkness falls across the land. The midnight hour is close at hand. Slimming ghouls in search of blood to terrorize yours neighborhood. I like the way Vincent Price said yours. Just, it doesn't seem to work when a white guy uses the accent. The ghetto slangage. But it worked for the thriller because just everything about that was awesome. All right, so that's all brought in there. Now I got to wipe it all off because it's too dark. All I want it to do is represent. Tribe Called Quest, represent. And because I'm trying to create a strong diagonal. I want there to be an X here. This can be very dark. This doesn't have to be mixed with white at all. It's the street, it's the road. What color is asphalt? I don't know. But I've been told anytime you use purple, it's going to be cold. This is the bottom. This is still the diagonal. I'm making it. Oh. Okay. Here's something I missed out. I don't know if that's better or worse, but we'll find out later. This is coming like this. Some of this action going. Got this. There's a kid outside. He wouldn't obey the on-air sign. Somebody needs to shame him for not obeying the on-air regulations. There's a dog. A dog wearing a backpack the size of half of my wallet. And then there's a girl struggling against the dog, having a hard time with the dog. And her brother's yelling at her. Sweet, black, dark, ripe, pressed Wisconsin cherries, thank you. Wow, I just can't, I love that stuff. But I don't want to drink too much because it might make me irregular. Now then, how's it coming? All right, so now the next thing is to okay, I'm going to put first next, I want raw sienna because I'm checking this against my better judgment. Yeah, all right. Raw sienna because I'm going to draw the lines of the road, and I want yellow, but I don't want it to be as bright as the moon, which is yellow ochre. Neither of which are raw sienna. There it is. Neither of which are technically yellow, but this raw sienna has a ishness to it that may be compelling. Without being overkill. Not everything has to be literal color. This is something I'm learning late in life. I'm learning everything late in life. I said I am learning everything late in life. Late in life learning, that's my motto. The water from this brush is causing the paint to not behave, so I gotta, whoops. So I got it. I mean, it's imprecise. I can't get the water off my brush because all my rags are. So I don't want to overwork it. Okay, I guess I do want to overwork it. So it's like this. Goddess blue again for the sky. I use it mostly straight. I will add to this. Is there a blue earth tone? No, Goddess blue is what they use for blue in the earth tone world. Okay, I guess we're going to add ivory black. No, let's add burnt umber. Burnt umber. It's dark. It's dark, and it's not the color black. It's the color brown. It's like an alternative to black. Not quite as dark, and also has a hue, so it subdues things. Right. Why am I getting this? Oh, the sky, right. A little water. It's time to wrap it up. I barely touched the canvas. Cave dweller. I wish you were here. I wish you were here. We could have fun together at Revision Gallery. Cave dweller, I wish you were with me right now in real life. You could do it. You could come by, cave dweller, and visit. But you won't, because I don't know why. You tell me, cave dweller. I write, and I'm here every week. All right, now I got a hair from something. That doesn't need to be done. This. Maybe we have some dramatic clouds in this. I love looking at clouds. Clouds give me new ideas for using pink and green and other colors. They're always dynamic, always dramatic, always wonderful use of color. Catching light as shadows, refracting light in interesting ways. Clouds are so great. It's always different. You can just look up in the sky and stare at it all day long. Hey, here's something I learned. There's a tradition, an Indian tradition, I'm not sure what tribe. I heard it from a Cree shaman who has a Cree medicine man who has a Lakota altar. So it seems to me that the tribes are cross-pollinating nowadays. So the shaman told the story of how never look at an eclipse because it's crude. It's considered crude because it's the sun and the moon being intimate with each other. Just like you have the discretion, hopefully, not to watch your parents have their moments of intimacy. You should also not watch the sun and moon in theirs. And this Indian woman who told my friend, the Cree shaman, Cree medicine man, said, "Why do you think they have to look through a hole this size to look at the sun and moon? Ever think about that? They have to look through a peephole?" And he's like, "Oh, peeping Tom. Yeah, it's so obvious." Okay. That's starting to look like something. It has the beginning of something going on. I'm going to put the mouth in so that we can at least get an idea of where we are mouth-wise. Light portrait pink. My art school chum and studio mate, Natalie Rafa, is running for alderman, city council actually, of her hometown, not her hometown, her St. Cloud, Minnesota. I drove out to meet her once. After I got my divorce, I celebrated by spending some time in Minneapolis. And on a lark, I'm like, hey, I drove to St. Cloud and I called her up from a payphone. Hey, I'm in town. Well, and they scrambled to try to get the place ready so I could come visit. And then I couldn't even find their house. So I just called them and said, I'm going back to Minneapolis. I can't find your place. Her husband doesn't like me. But it was fun, and I realized on my drive out from Minneapolis to St. Cloud that it's a long drive. It doesn't look that far on the map. It's like little bitty. All right, here we go. I said the mouth was off. Okay, now it's way off. All right, what if I... Thing is, it's got to be more on this side than that side. Okay, that's not bad. It's wonky, but I like it that way. I like the wonk. Gonna use this blue. Why does it look like she's smiling? That doesn't even look like a mouth. Okay, maybe it does from here. It looks like she has clown mouth. Madam, your son has developed clown mouth. Doctor, is it curable? We're going to have to amputate. Some of you parents may wish you could amputate the mouths off your children. And I can't say that I blame you. We are here. It's time for me to start wrapping things up. And I feel like the energy of this show is winding down. Like I've run out of antics and energy. I'm going to have to try harder, please. Or actually make progress on a painting that isn't superficial, but they're so hard. It's hard to do a painting and easy to talk. Oh man, that mouth is... I want to put my hand over everything in this painting except this white hand. Let me see here. It's black, umber, gray. I need to do something with that car. When you're stuck, always do the very next thing that you know you need to do, even if it's unrelated to problem areas. Like, I'm not sure what to do about this, so I'm going to go over here and fix the grille of this car. First of all, the hood goes like this. And this has a kind of a, like this. This is a wheel well. Now, here's the grill. here. Now add some gray, because black won't show up well over this purple, and I do the tire, I do the wheel. It's a weird-ass wheel. I don't know if I like that, but let's see what happens. I feel like it's the only piece of the car that goes over that stage edge, and there should be more. Like this, for instance. All right, that's better. But I can perfect it by stopping the show right now. That is utter perfection. Stand by.